Okay, so, everyone loves a good shortcut, right?
Right.
Well, today we've got a shortcut to something really profound, understanding Surah Yasin, which is often called the heart of the Quran.
Yeah, but, even with a shortcut, the source material that we're looking at today really emphasizes that to truly understand Surah Yasin
Mm,
takes, real time and dedication.
of course. Yeah.
So think of this deep dive as just a starting point
Exactly.
for your own journey, your own exploration.
Okay. So the sources describe Surah Yasin as a chapter in the Quran that holds a really special place for Muslims.
Yeah.
And we're going to be looking at why it's so important, what benefits people associate with it, and then really unpack what the source material calls its divine gifts.
Sounds good.
Okay, so first up, this Heart of the Quran nickname.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah. So it's not that it's like the longest chapter or the most popular chapter or anything like that.
Gotcha.
The source explains that it's called the heart because of its central message and the way that it affects believers on kind of a deeper level, a deep emotional level. It resonates with them.
Oh, interesting. So it's less about like the head and more about the heart.
Yeah.
Okay, what are those core themes then that make it so powerful?
Okay, well, the source material highlights four key Islamic themes
Okay.
within Surah Yasin.
Okay.
So the first one is Tawheed,
Uh-huh.
which is the oneness of Allah.
Okay.
The second is resurrection.
Okay.
The third is a story of a town that rejected the messengers.
Okay.
And then finally, this really interesting balance between warnings and messages of mercy and hope.
Okay. Of those four, is there one that really stands out to you?
Yeah, I think the way that Surah Yasin describes the day of judgment and the concept of resurrection is just, it's really gripping. It really kind of hammers home the point that our actions have consequences
Oh, wow.
and that our time in this life is precious.
Yeah.
And there's one verse in particular, it says, and their faces shall be humbled before the living, the self-subsisting. And it's just a powerful reminder that our focus should be on preparing for what comes next.
Yeah, talk about a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Now, the source material that we're looking at today also gets into all the benefits of reciting Surah Yasin,
Yes.
and it almost reads like a self-help book. It lays out all these like perks. Is this common for religious texts?
Yeah, a lot of different religious traditions will link specific practices with desired outcomes.
Okay.
But what's interesting about the source material here is it's really focusing on Surah Yasin's impact on your inner world,
Okay.
like your connection with Allah,
Mm-hmm.
your sense of peace. It's not so much about worldly gain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's less about like getting that promotion and more about, inner transformation.
Right.
Okay. There are four specific benefits listed.
Mhm.
And the first one is spiritual healing and comfort. The second is forgiveness of sins.
The third is ease in the afterlife. And the fourth is baraka in daily life, which means blessings. I want to talk about that third one. What could easing hardships in the afterlife actually look like?
Well, I mean, this is interpretation, not a direct quote
Of course.
from the source material.
Okay.
But drawing on other Islamic teachings, one way to think about it is that reciting Surah Yasin can help to make the transition into the afterlife smoother.
Okay.
Maybe during the judgment process or even in one's final destination.
Okay.
So it's almost like, preparing for a long journey.
Okay.
If you pack well and you plan carefully, the trip will be that much easier.
Oh, so it's not about avoiding the journey. It's just about being prepared?
Right.
Okay. That makes sense. So now the source shifts gears a little bit. It's not just about what you gain from Surah Yasin, but what it gives to you. It's almost like a gift basket from the divine. Of the four divine gifts listed here, which one do you find most interesting?
I think the call to reflection, because, Surah Yasin uses all this vivid imagery and these thought-provoking stories to encourage us to really hit the pause button
Okay.
and think about our purpose,
Okay.
our actions, our relationship with Allah.
Uh-huh.
That there's this verse in Surah Yasin, and it describes disbelievers as being deaf and blind,
Okay.
but not physically.
Right.
It's talking about the state of their heart and their mind.
Wow.
So it's like Surah Yasin is holding up a mirror and asking you, are you really awake? Are you paying attention?
Wow, that's powerful. The source material also lists reminders of Allah's signs, a source of hope, and a connection to the Prophet Muhammad as gifts.
Right.
Would you say that these are only for Muslims, or is there something universal here that anyone could appreciate?
Yeah, that's a great question. While the context is Islamic, I think the underlying ideas resonate with a lot of different spiritual paths.
Yeah.
Recognizing signs of a higher power, holding on to hope, feeling connected to someone or something that embodies, spiritual wisdom. These are really universal longings.
So you're saying even someone who isn't Muslim might still find something in Surah Yasin that speaks to them.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Okay, the source material actually gives us like really specific steps on how to engage with Surah Yasin.
Right.
But since this is your deep dive, let's just jump right into, application.
Okay.
Let's say you're talking to someone who really wants to get the most out of Surah Yasin. What one piece of advice would you give them?
I would say pay attention to how it makes you feel.
Okay.
Go beyond the words themselves. Go beyond trying to understand everything intellectually. What stirs in your heart when you hear these verses? What questions bubble up in your mind? Let those be your guide as you explore the text further.
So it's not just about reading it. It's about, really taking it all in and letting it resonate within you.
Yep.
And maybe even sparking your own personal journey.
Exactly.
Okay. I love that. Now, before we wrap up part 1, I have to ask, this whole idea of Surah Yasin being a divine gift, does that personally resonate with you?
It's interesting. When I first encountered Surah Yasin, I was very focused on the historical context, the linguistics, all the theological debates. But it wasn't until I really started approaching it as a gift, as an offering of wisdom and guidance, that it really came alive for me.
So you're saying shifting your perspective on it, seeing it as a gift and not just another text, really changed your entire experience.
Totally, yeah. It allowed me to connect with Surah Yasin on a deeper level, a more spiritual level. And that's what I would encourage everyone listening to do. Approach it with an open mind and an open heart. Be ready to receive the gifts that it has to offer.
Beautiful.
Because there are layers upon layers of meaning waiting to be discovered. And we're going to be delving into some more of those layers in part 2 of our deep dive, so stay tuned. So, welcome back to our deep dive into Surah Yasin.
Okay.
In part 1, we were talking about Surah Yasin being the heart of the Quran.
Right.
Focusing on its emotional impact, key themes, and all of that.
Right.
But the source material we're looking at today specifically calls it Surah Yasin, the heart of the Quran.
Oh. You picked up on that, huh? It seems like the source is really going out of its way to emphasize that connection between, this one chapter and the entire Quran.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So if Surah Yasin is the heart, then what does that make the rest of the Quran? Is it the body, the mind?
Yeah.
How does this one chapter fit into the grand scheme of the whole Quranic message?
Yeah. I like that analogy. Think of it this way. The heart is vital for life.
Right.
It pumps blood and it pumps oxygen to the rest of the body. It keeps everything running.
Yeah.
In the same way, Surah Yasin, with its central themes of Tawheed and resurrection and the warnings and the mercy, it really embodies those fundamental messages of Islam.
Okay.
That you find throughout the Quran.
So you're saying it's not just a standalone chapter, it's like a condensed version almost, like a miniature version of the whole message.
Precisely, yeah.
Right.
It's a concentrated dose of the Quran's essence.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. It's like getting a sneak peek of the main themes before you actually dive into the whole thing.
Right.
So even though we're just focusing on this one chapter, we're actually getting a glimpse into the heart of the entire Islamic faith.
Yeah. And I think by understanding Surah Yasin deeply, we can gain a much deeper understanding of the Quran as a whole and its message for humanity.
Okay. Now, the source material also talks about all the benefits of reciting Surah Yasin.
Yeah.
And it talks in particular about the spiritual healing and comfort that it can bring. How do those two things connect?
Well, a lot of people find solace and tranquility when they recite the Quran.
Okay.
The words themselves have a very calming rhythm. And when you focus on the meaning of the words, it can help foster a feeling of peace and a connection with something bigger than yourself.
So it's almost like a form of meditation.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. The source also mentions that reciting Surah Yasin can lead to forgiveness of sins. I'm curious how that works.
Well, in Islam, seeking forgiveness is a fundamental part of the faith.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging your shortcomings,
Okay.
expressing remorse, and turning back to Allah with sincerity.
Okay.
And reciting Surah Yasin, especially, with its focus on Allah's mercy and compassion,
Hmm.
that can be a very powerful way to connect with that sense of forgiveness.
So it's not like reciting Surah Yasin magically erases like all your mistakes,
Right.
but it's more that it creates an environment where you can really repent.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
It,
yeah.
it acts as like a catalyst, that pushes you to examine your actions and seek a path back to righteousness.
That makes sense. The source also mentions Surah Yasin, easing hardships in the afterlife, which is, a pretty big concept.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a complex concept.
Yeah.
And you'll find different interpretations out there.
Sure.
Some believe that reciting Surah Yasin can literally lessen the difficulties that you might face
Okay.
during the transition to the afterlife,
Okay.
while others view it more as a form of spiritual preparation,
Okay.
something that strengthens your faith so you can face, whatever challenges might come your way.
So it's not about necessarily like bypassing the hardship,
Right.
but it's about having that resilience to get through it.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense. At the end of the day, the afterlife is a mystery.
Right.
And our understanding of it is limited.
Yes.
But what's clear is that Surah Yasin offers us comfort, and it offers us hope,
Absolutely.
and it reminds us of Allah's mercy, which can really help us to get through anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so the source material calls Surah Yasin a divine gift.
Yes.
What does that mean to you personally?
To me, that means that Surah Yasin, like the entire Quran, is a revelation from Allah,
Okay.
a message of guidance,
Uh-huh.
wisdom,
Yeah.
mercy,
Okay.
meant for all of humanity.
Okay.
And it's a gift because it shows us a way to understand our purpose, connect with the divine, and lead a life that's filled with meaning.
So it's a gift because it gives us the tools we need
Right.
to navigate the ups and downs of life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And connect with, something bigger than ourselves.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The source goes on to list 4 specific gifts within Surah Yasin.
Right.
And those are reminders of Allah's signs,
Uh-huh.
a call to reflection,
Right.
a source of hope,
Yes.
and a connection to the Prophet Muhammad. Let's unpack those, starting with reminders of Allah's signs.
Yeah.
What kind of signs are we talking about here?
Well, Surah Yasin points to the natural world
Okay.
as a testament to Allah's power and wisdom.
Okay.
The creation of the heavens and the earth,
Uh-huh.
the cycle of life and death, the,
Mm.
intricate workings of the human body.
Right.
All of these are signs,
Okay.
that point to a creator,
Okay.
a force beyond our comprehension.
So it's encouraging us to look for the divine, in our daily lives.
Yes.
To see the extraordinary in the ordinary.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a call to appreciate the wonders of creation
Mm-hmm.
and to recognize that, they're not just random occurrences,
Mm.
but they're evidence of a divine plan,
Okay.
a divine purpose.
Okay. That's a really beautiful way to look at it. It really does make you appreciate the world around you
Yeah.
in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the call to reflection? How does Surah Yasin, encourage us to reflect?
Well, throughout the surah, there are verses
Okay.
that prompt you to stop,
Uh-huh.
to think
Okay.
about your actions,
Yeah.
your beliefs, your relationship with Allah.
Uh-huh.
It asks questions
Okay.
that make you think.
Okay.
And it presents scenarios
Okay.
that challenge you.
Okay.
And it urges you to examine your life
Mm-hmm.
and to make choices that align with your values.
So it's not about blindly following a set of rules, but it's about, taking those teachings
Hmm.
and really letting them shape your life.
Precisely.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's talk about the gift of hope.
Okay.
How does Surah Yasin offer hope, especially during, times of difficulty and hardship?
I think Surah Yasin really acknowledges that, difficulties are part of life.
Of course. Yeah.
They're a test of our faith.
Yeah.
But it also tells us to turn to Allah
Okay.
for comfort,
Okay.
to find solace
Yeah.
in His mercy,
Okay.
and to trust that, even when it feels like you're in a tunnel, there's always light at the end of that tunnel.
So you're saying to lean on your faith as a source of strength when things get tough.
Absolutely. You're never really alone.
Okay.
Allah is always there to support you.
Okay. That's really reassuring. we've been talking about individual benefits,
Yes.
but are there like social implications too? Can Surah Yasin help to inspire us to create a better world?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. It stresses the importance of justice,
Okay.
compassion,
hmm
doing the right thing.
Okay.
Um, it calls us to look out for others,
Okay.
to treat everyone with respect,
Mm-hmm.
and to work toward a society that's fair and equitable
Okay.
for all.
So it's not just about personal like piety. It's about taking action.
Exactly. It's about taking that understanding of Surah Yasin
Mm-hmm.
and using it
Okay.
as fuel
Mm.
to create positive change around you.
Powerful stuff. Before we wrap up this part, I want to go back to the source material calling Surah Yasin a divine gift.
Yes.
What does that mean to you on a personal level?
It's hard to describe the impact that Surah Yasin has had on me.
Okay.
It's been there for me
Uh-huh.
in the tough times.
Yeah.
It's guided me
Uh-huh.
on my own spiritual journey.
Okay.
And it's a constant reminder of the beauty and wisdom of Islam.
So it's more than just words on a page. It's like it's a part of your life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Every time I recite it, it's like having a conversation with Allah.
Wow.
And it's a source of inspiration that never gets old.
That's beautiful. It reminds us that these texts aren't just, static relics of the past, but they're living sources of wisdom
Yes.
that can really change our lives if we let them.
Yeah, and I think the beauty of Surah Yasin, like all sacred texts, is that it offers something to everyone, no matter who you are or what you believe.
Yeah.
Whether you're looking for comfort, guidance, or deeper connection with the divine, Surah Yasin invites you to explore and discover and grow.
That's a great point. And, this deep dive has been incredible, exploring all the depths of Surah Yasin. But as we said, this is just the beginning.
Right.
We really encourage you to take what you've learned today
Yeah,
and continue exploring on your own.
absolutely.
Read it, reflect on it, talk about it with others, let it touch your heart. We're going to pause our exploration here for now,
Okay.
but join us for part 3 of our deep dive, where we're going to, delve into more of the practical applications of Surah Yasin
Yeah.
and its relevance in the modern world.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive on Surah Yasin.
Yes.
In parts 1 and 2, we really dug into the meaning of Surah Yasin being the heart of the Quran.
And all those divine gifts that are packed into this one powerful chapter.
Yeah.
But, I have to wonder, what does it all actually mean for us? In our lives, in our daily lives?
Right.
How do we actually take these insights and make them practical?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not enough to just admire Surah Yasin from, afar.
Right.
The real magic happens when you actually weave its teachings into your thoughts and your actions and how you interact with the world.
So it's less about head knowledge and more about, really living it out.
Exactly. Yeah. Surah Yasin gives us this incredible framework
Yeah.
for, a more meaningful and purposeful and connected life.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me some examples. How can we apply, the lessons of Surah Yasin to our daily routines?
Well, think back to that call to reflection we discussed.
Uh-huh.
Surah Yasin is all about being mindful.
Yeah.
Pausing before you act, making sure that your choices are lining up with your values.
Okay.
So, this could be as simple as taking, a few minutes each day
Okay.
for some quiet contemplation, just checking in with your intentions,
Okay.
seeking guidance from Allah.
So it's like building in these mini meditation breaks, just to realign yourself
Right.
throughout the day.
Yeah. Just cultivating a state of awareness,
Yeah.
Both internally and out in the world.
Yeah, that's a great point. Another powerful way to apply it, I think, is to, really see the world through the lens of Surah Yasin. Remember, those reminders of Allah's signs that we were talking about? Make it a game to find evidence of the divine in your everyday life. The beauty of nature, those acts of kindness,
Right.
those moments where things just seem to fall into place.
Yeah. It's like turning everyday life into a spiritual scavenger hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about shifting your perspective, realizing that everything is connected, and seeing that hand of the divine
Yeah.
in every aspect of creation.
I like that. But what about, for people who are going through, really difficult times,
Yeah.
how does Surah Yasin help them?
I think one of the most beautiful things about Surah Yasin is that it acknowledges
Yeah,
that difficulties are a part of life.
of course.
It's a test of our faith, and it
Uh-huh.
and it tells us to turn to Allah for comfort.
Okay.
Find solace in His mercy,
Uh-huh.
and to trust.
Yeah.
That even when it feels like you're really in a tunnel, there's always a light at the end.
So lean on your faith as a source of strength.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, you're never truly alone. Allah is always there to support you.
Yeah, that's powerful. We've been talking about like individual benefits,
Right.
but are there, like social implications too? Like, can Surah Yasin inspire us to build a better world?
That's a great point. Surah Yasin really stresses
Yeah.
the importance of justice,
Okay.
compassion,
Mhm.
doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It calls on us to look out for others,
Okay.
to treat everyone with respect,
Mm.
and to work towards a society that's fair and equitable for all.
So it's not just about like personal piety, it's about taking action and like making a difference.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about taking that understanding of Surah Yasin and using it,
Yeah.
as fuel to create positive change
Yeah.
around you.
Powerful stuff. Before we wrap up our deep dive, I want to go back to, the source material calling Surah Yasin a divine gift.
Right.
What does that mean to you, like on a personal level? How has the surah enriched your own life?
It's hard to describe
Yeah.
the impact that Surah Yasin has had on me. Um, it's been there for me during tough times. It's guided me on my own spiritual journey, and it's just a constant reminder of the beauty and wisdom of Islam.
So it's more than just, words on a page. It's
Yeah.
like it's a living, breathing part of your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I recite it, it feels like I'm having a conversation with Allah,
Wow.
and it's a source of inspiration that never gets old.
That's beautiful. And, it reminds us that these sacred texts aren't just, relics from the past.
Right.
They're really vibrant sources of wisdom
Yes.
that can really change our lives if we let them.
Absolutely. And the beauty of Surah Yasin, like all sacred texts, I think, is that it offers something to everyone, no matter who you are, what you believe.
Yeah.
Whether you're looking for comfort or guidance or, a deeper connection with the divine, Surah Yasin invites you to explore and discover and grow.
What a perfect note to end on. This deep dive has been, incredible, exploring the depths of Surah Yasin and its message. But like we've been saying, this is really just the beginning. We encourage you to take what you've learned and continue exploring on your own. Read it, reflect on it, talk about it, and let it touch your heart. And as you go deeper into Surah Yasin, think about this. How might understanding the historical context of this surah enrich your appreciation for its message? How might the challenges and triumphs of those early Muslims who first heard these words, how might that shape your own approach to faith and to life? Just something to think about as you continue your own journey with Surah Yasin. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Surah Yasin, the heart of the Quran. May its wisdom and beauty continue to illuminate your path.